Well, the start of a new racing season for the Area Truck Series takes us to none other than the world center of racing, Daytona International Speedway. Welcome back to SimTV. It's been a while. The offseason ends tonight for the Area Truck Series with its first race of the season, a 90-lap event into the sunset here in Daytona Beach, Florida. Hi, everyone. Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn for the first of 17 races that will take us all the way across the virtual country from Daytona to Las Vegas to Charlotte to Homestead to Kansas and all the way to Chicagoland at season's end. Connor, welcome aboard. Daytona's always a big one. It's always a fun one, but tonight 90 laps with a full field and one driver will go home after qualifying.
Yeah, we're going to have one go-go homer, much like we did in the Cup Series, but no duels to decide that go-go homer. Got a 10-minute qualifying session. You only get one lap to do it, so all those open trucks we have tonight are going to really have to focus up and put an absolutely perfect lap down, so that's going to be interesting. And obviously all 44 drivers want to walk away with the win tonight. It could be a chase berth for some drivers, playoff berth.
Yeah, it certainly could. You could lock yourself in tonight, or you'll have to do it at one of the other about 13 races before it turns to playoff time. But qualifying is going to be really important tonight to make it into the show. One driver will not make it home. We'll keep you updated on that. But it is a full field. 43 trucks going for victory tonight, Connor. And, of course, last night in the Area 500, things got wild at the end. And the truck race always tends to be pretty racy as well.
Yeah, truck race is always pretty wild. Last season was very wild. Multiple crashes near the end. Just Anna Sogak taking his one and only victory of Season 4. So things can get pretty wild. That's what makes this even more important of a race. Some drivers who you might not see in the playoff field come playoff time could get a golden ticket here tonight. But even if you get that golden ticket, this is so far down the road. You're going to have to beat that man, James Scioli. 2 championships last season in trucks and in the Pro Series. He is the guy to beat in Area this season.
Well, he's going to be the guy to beat in the Area this season because he was the guy to beat last season as well, all season long. He's waiting on his qualifying effort. Many others are not. They're already rolling onto this 2.5-mile, 31-degree banked oval built in the 1960s. And, of course, it's began NASCAR seasons for decades and decades, and still true here in Season 5 for the Area Truck Series. Of course, we got the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series on Thursday as well. But, Connor, time to go qualifying here from Daytona Beach.
Here we go. It's just same thing as the Cup car, just got to be a little smooth, and it's going to be a little bit slower. So you might have a few more opportunities to kind of twitch accidentally and might set your lap back a few hundredths of a second. And yes, I mean hundredths. That's how close this qualifying session is going to be, as our first driver that we're going to look at on track is Garrett Grant.
Yeah, number 5 working his way through turns 1 and 2 here up on the banking. And it's going to be a very busy qualifying session. We're not going to get to everybody here. But there's some returning drivers that we have to put camera on. David Weishart is one of them. And the Matco Tools Toyota Tundra this time around, switching over from the Chevrolet side over to Toyota this season and beginning his qualifying effort.
Yeah, all his team going to Toyotas. Thursday night we'll see him in Supras as well, which will include Jeremy Miller, who we got to deal with, me and his team in 609, so that'll be fun to see. Travis Beckner, we're going to have to keep an eye on him in the 28, won his second Area 500 last night. And he's always fast and aggressive at these tracks, so no doubt he'll be in contention if he gets a good time down.
Well, Bobby Tinch already solidifies his way in, obviously, right up at the top of the board over Garrett Grant. John Hall goes to the top in the 0-3 as he slows down in the Area iRacing Shop number 03 car. JT Poole, how about this phenom? This kid was real good last season in all of the Area series and maybe one to circle this season now that he's got his rookie stripes out of the way.
Yeah, got his rookie stripes out of the way. Would have been a Truck Series playoff driver if he ran enough races, so he'll definitely, as long as he makes the races this season, this time around, he'll definitely be a threat for the title, I would think. Focusing on trucks, not going to be in the Cup Series full-time this season due to his school, wherever he goes. I honestly don't know, but he's definitely a threat in any car he's going to be in, but he was especially fast at the end of a season in the Truck Series.
So here comes JT Poole, not one of the go-or-go homers tonight. I mentioned Bobby Tinch because he is one of those go-or-go homers, but he's well clear of that cut line now. Many more that are not locked in. Gatlin Downey is one of them in the number 35 Chevrolet Silverado. He begins his qualifying effort. Braxton DeWeese, a new name here this season. Casey Lakatos impressed everybody with his couple of runs and the front row start for the Area 500. He's also running here in the Area Truck Series with that kind of teal and white paint scheme. So just so many names that we're familiar with. And, of course, Eric Wineland always playing the strategy game here tonight. But it's going to be all about speed for this single lap qualifying effort here tonight.
It's going to be important to get that run off the top to get your lap going as well. You don't want to get too close to the wall like Wineland is, because it can kind of side draft you, sort of. The wall will slow you down if you're too close to it, but you'll still come across the line at 170, which is around where you want to be. And now it's just all about keeping the wheel as smooth as possible, just like any other qualifying session here.
Yeah, we saw it the other day in the duels qualifying last week that, sometimes drivers can let the car kind of wash up just a little bit. And it looks like Wineland's going to do just that. Don't keep it pinned all the way to the yellow line because they're actually scrubbing the front tires. I'm not sure that effect is quite as extreme on the trucks as it is in the Cup Series cars, but just being conscious not to grind the rubber off them on these qualifying laps.
Extremely important. You can look at the focus he's putting into this time as well. Not too close to the double yellow line either. You don't want to hit the apron. That'll hurt your lap pretty badly as well as he comes out of turn 4. The truck setup the fixed setup must be really skewed as he'll go below a WL line. That is legal. You can do that on your lap. He'll come across at a 52.324, which is not bad, but it will put him a little far off the pole speed by about half a tenth. Right now, Jake Matheson holds that top spot.
Yeah, nice long run there for Matheson. Colin Fambro gets up to speed. James Shainwolf begins his qualifying effort in the number 01 Elite truck. Nice looking green and orange livery on this thing.
We're going to see a few elite trucks like that in the field. I saw about 2 or 3, so definitely going with the same paint scheme for all their team trucks.
Here comes Braxton DeWeese in one of the Ford F-150 machines. Here he comes in the number 13 across the stripe. We'll see where Braxton lands. And this is average speed of 170.215 miles an hour, 30th quick. And he is one of those go or go homers, but I think he's already safe thanks to Joey Chapman and Nathan Jump running a little slower, but and Joey Chapman is a go-or-go homer, so that is going to be a dangerous spot for him to sit with just a couple of trucks left to go.
Yeah, not looking too great for him. There are still a few open trucks to go out. One of them being Justin Munsell, who's not on track yet. He is an open truck for this season after almost making the playoffs last season after a Talladega incident. But one person who is locked in via charter is Cameron Hearn. Fast yesterday, had a dramatic duel a week ago as well, but always someone a threat to the very last lap. He won a thriller at Talladega up the previous season, so we'll see what he can do on his qualifying lap. He comes to take the green.
Cross the stripe for Cameron Hearn, and he'll begin his qualifying effort, and also appreciate him giving us a little donation, Cameron, in the super chat tonight on YouTube. Big thanks to Cameron for that and the support that he has shown as we work our way now through turns 1 and 2. He heads up onto the back straightaway. And again, we're watching average speeds here on that bottom, the bottom of this graphic, and then lap time will be on the left-hand side of the screen.
It is going to be very tough. You see how close the pole speeds are already. There's only about 100th separating Matheson from Tom Bourne, who's second, and you really can't get these trucks over 171. That's about their peak. You can see in turn 3, Hearn is bottoming out at 168, so that is how important it is, the cue here, because the miles per hour are not going to fluctuate. You have to be smooth as he'll come to the apron at 171. Crosses line 52.357. And it's not too far off the pole speed, but it's going to put him all the way down in 24th.
Yeah, maybe not the effort I think he was expecting. Here's Justin Munsell. It'll be a late qualifying effort for him in the Tahoe truck, accelerating up the back straightaway on his lap out. And I think even leaving the pits is a pretty critical part of qualifying here at Daytona, Connor, with this one-lap shootout sort of qualifying structure.
Oh, definitely. Got to be perfect out of the pits, too. Is especially important in the Cup cars just because of how much those jump around. But trucks, they don't really do that as much, so you kind of have a better feel for what it's going to do out of the pits. But, yeah, definitely an important part as well. I remember after dual qualifying, there were people calling out people not pulling up to the cone and making an advantage, but I don't think that was the case. Munsell across the line, 52.325. He's 15th. That he will be safe as he's ahead of the other open trucks.
Yeah, that was a pretty critical lap for him, and that puts Joey Chapman in the go-home spot. I think as it stands, the other cars, I believe, are all locked in via their charters. So that would mean that Austin Gacjon and Mark Brannigan Jr. don't even need to qualify. Connor, correct me if I'm wrong there, but that would eliminate Joey Chapman from contention here tonight. The only truck to have to go home.
Which is a shame when you're singled out to be the only one going home. It would be unfortunate because Brannigan safe, Gacjon safe, Bronson Stafford's chartered, who's on track, and I have a hunch Scioli's fine. I'm just going to say that I think a former champion's okay, but he is good, and he is on his lap. I think I saw him hit 173, which is not what I was expecting, or maybe I was looking at someone else. But we'll see how good this lap is.
Yeah, he's not one of the drivers in the go-homer group, obviously, so he should, well, he's going to be good regardless. Here he comes out of turn 4 and across the stripe, down below that double yellow line. Fair game here, and the time is going to be a 52.264, and that is going to put him at the top by 0.02 of a second, well clear of Jake Matheson.
Oh, I guess the 173 is white. Nothing's changed. It's 7 on pole.
And
Stafford the third.
Yeah, nice run there for Stafford, and that will conclude qualifying. Joey Chapman will go home. Let's get a quick look here at the session results before we turn things over. There's a look at how things stand, Connor.
Yeah, a few Toyotas, row of Chevys there, 2 rows of Chevys there. I don't know how to pronounce that. Joshua Balliet, I'm going to go with right now. Did not see his name pronunciation down there, but a good qualifying run for a new name to me. Weishart rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, really solid lap there for Weishart to get him in the top 10 for the start of this one in that Toyota truck. As we mentioned, there's a look at the rest of the top 20 as the session's going to tick over here in just a moment and pull those results away from us. So we're going to get things started here in just a couple minutes' time. Connor, before we get into the night, though, we've got to, of course, thank the partners and people that make this happen. Area iRacing's Twitch channel is one of those partners and people. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel for only $5 a month. You can watch all area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat and earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. So, tell me about these trucks and how they plate race here, Connor, and what are the keys to success in a 43-car grid this evening?
I think the track position is going to be the most key for this race. I think in the Cup car, you can go back the front pretty quickly. We saw my teammate Yusuf Ghali go 38th the first in 14 laps yesterday. I just don't think that's going to be possible in these trucks. It's not going to be as easy. You can't shoot it up the middle and get a 10-mile-per-hour run. The runs don't really come easy in these trucks, so I think you want to be at the front. The qualifying is very important, so we're going to see Scioli Matheson probably stay up there, and we're not going to really see a lane on the bottom and a lane on the top. I think we're going to see 3 stacked lanes when it comes down to the very end of this. So it's going to be a little bit of a dogfight because these trucks can stay pretty pressed up for a long amount of time, but that could also lead to a lot more carnage.
Yeah, it definitely could be carnage, and I think that's the key that I was looking for is staying out of trouble in a 43-car field. Just making it to the end is going to be a challenge. We have advanced to the race here, though, Connor. If this race goes green from start to finish, this race is about 1 hour and 18 minutes in length. It's going to be an interesting night, though, all the time. We'll head down to the racetrack here in just a moment for the Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup. But who's the favorite tonight? I mean, James Scioli coming off his amazing Season 4 has to be the one that we circle. But is there anybody besides him that could be an overdog in this that's new?
I mean, obviously, Scioli could be a favorite, but he's just never been able to really finish these super speedway races off. He finished first in the Pro Series and won, but got it taken away from him. And Sogak starting 7th. He won here last season, the punches ticket to the playoffs. I think he's a solid shout-out for this win. JT Poole and Travis Beckner are definitely 2 I'm going to look at and circle in right now, and I'll just give the nod to JT Poole right now. Those 2 work really well together. If they can hone in on that aggressiveness and stay at the front, I think one of those 2 will win. I think it will be JT Poole.
Well, just under 80 degrees Fahrenheit here on the racetrack. About 75 in the air ambient temp. That's what we've got to work with as far as temperatures go. The Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup is coming your way. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems Coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. So I think it's about time we go through that Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup, Connor, because it's a big grid tonight. Kicking things off on the front row is James Scioli, of course, in that number 7, that Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. It's Jake Matheson alongside him in the number 52.
And right behind him in row number 2, Bronson Stafford, who had good finishes at the end of last season, alongside Tom Bourne, who just missed out on the Final 4.
And behind them in row number 3, it's JT Poole. In the number 26, Alex Cummings starts 6th in the number 63.
Row number 4, Justin Sogak, the Daytona winner last season, starts 7th alongside 12 of Gary Waterworth, trying to improve on last season.
And starting in 9th place, it's Joshua Ballier in the number 07. David Weishart starts 10th in his new Toyota Tundra TRD Pro in the 33.
11th place is going to be John M. Hall, new name to me, in the 03 Silverado. Alongside him, a name that we do know, Bryce Senesac in the 09.
And behind them in 13th place, it's Ryan Swan, back for another season. Jason Dalton, new this season, rolls off 14th in the 02.
15th place, Eric Weiland. We'll have the camera on him when we cut to him. He starts 15th alongside Case Lakatos in the 50, who impressed with a front row spot in the Cup race.
Justin Munsell will have a camera on tonight as well. Kevin Stein starts 18th alongside him in the number 92.
Rounding out the top 20, Adam Capps in the 05 returning to the series. I think his truck actually says Capps on it. And then 20th place, Greg Mitchell.
And 21st place is Gatton Downey in the number 35. Colin Fambro starts 22nd in the number 18.
Dawson Miller starts in the 23rd position alongside Mason Kane, who had bright spots last season. He starts 24th.
And Danny Ware starts 25th in the 49. Travis Beckner, last night's Area 500 winner, two-timer, starts 26th in the 28 truck.
27th place, Cameron Hearn. He's going to have to come from the back. He does it a lot, though. Bobby Tinch, who one of the open trucks to make it in tonight, starts 28.
And 29th place is Dwayne Culberson in the number 81. It's Sam Fontaine, who starts 30th in the 71 car.
Back drivers in the field, Michael Curhan, 31st. We have a cam on him as well. Haven't read his note yet either. Matthew Rodriguez starts line slot him in 32nd.
Jacob Bell starts 33rd in the 77, and Sean Petchin starts 34th in the number 69.
Shane Therian starting back in 35th position alongside the 25 of Dylan Lee.
And 37th, it's Garrett Grant in the number 5 truck. James Shanewoolf, his Ford rolls off 38th.
39th place, the former truck champ two-time Brad Slaughter Jr. starts 39th alongside Braxton DeWeese in his Ford F-150.
And the last couple of rows, of course, Joey Chapman did not qualify in. He would have been 41st as Nathan Jump in that position. Behind them, Austin Gacchone and Mark Brannigan Jr. make up your 43 truck field. The Area Truck Series Season 5 from Daytona International Speedway. It's about time to go racing. Here we go. Green flag flies on 90 laps tonight from the World Center of Racing. We're underway. Big pack out of turn 4, 43 trucks strong. James Scioli and Jake Matheson pretty even for the top spot, but a shove from Bronson Stafford knocked Scioli clear of the 52 as we complete lap 1, Connor.
This is what we're going to see all night long as well. You're not going to see one line on the wall, the other near the WL line. That second line is always going to be pinching that bottom line down because it's not going to slow them down as much as it would in a cup car. So you're going to see those two lanes so close to each other all night long until we get a third lane to pinch that middle line down.
Can't see much if you're Eric Wineland, buried deep here in the field. 15th spot right in the middle of all of it. It's going to be just clicking off laps for a while, I'd have to imagine here, Connor, in the early stages. Once you start to get comfortable with who's around you, then you can start progressing forward. But the trucks always seem to be a bit more orderly than perhaps the B-Series cars or the Cup cars that we saw last night.
Yeah, the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars are a little bit more unstable. I think the trucks are as stable as you're going to get, but even then it might be a little difficult if you're not accustomed to this truck. But yeah, I think we're going to see everyone really settling in here, besides maybe one or two drivers trying to get to the front. Surprised to not see anyone drop back. Usually in these types of long races with big fields, you will see people drop back, but everyone's still going strong. The only driver I see in the middle lane is Brad Slaughter Jr., and he's all the way back in 34th still.
A lot of cooperation here in the early laps, a lot of patience. That's something we will not see about an hour from now when we get down to the last 10, 15 laps of this race. Scioli and now Stafford are beginning to pull clear there in the front on that bottom lane. Stafford, I think, tested the water to see if he could jump up ahead of Matheson's number 52 Silverado, but didn't bite for it.
just not really wanting to go out, I don't think, at this point. I think he's perfectly fine with running at the front. Not to be too rude, Bronson Stafford, one of the drivers who you always see in this series. He runs very often in the trucks, and he did run well at the end of the season, but maybe not accustomed to running at the front as much. He's 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, so definitely trying to get some experience at the front of this field.
One of those places that the draft is the great equalizer. You can find yourself with a win that will propel you to the playoffs, so then you can spend the rest of the season just focusing on practicing those playoff tracks, and it doesn't really matter where you do. You'd like to rack up those bonus points, but as far as just making it to the playoffs, a win and you're in.
Yeah, that was the big deal for Anna Sogak last season. He did get to the playoffs via that win. Definitely had a little struggle in the playoffs, but that's kind of what it's about. You get that golden ticket at the track like this, and you don't really want to chill the entire season because, like you said, you need to practice those playoff tracks, but it definitely brings a weight off your shoulders knowing that as long as you stay good enough points-wise and run enough races, you're pretty much sorted out.
Look at the inside lane now. Gathering some momentum here with a nice big shove from Stafford. It's going to tow along JT Poole. And he was just a phenom last season. Showed up and really should have been in contention more in the playoffs, but just didn't run enough races on the Cup Series side of things. But here he is right in the middle of it already. Started 5th, running 4th and 3rd in that bottom lane. And I think I trust this kid's judgment, Connor. I think he'll be in a good position at the end of this season if he can run as many races as he needs.
I think so too. Like I said, I think he could be a threat for the title if he runs enough races and just keeps it smart. He's aggressive for sure, but he's so far done a good job at owning in on that aggressiveness. Stafford tight out of turn 2. But I think he's definitely someone that you need to look out for if you're Scioli or some of the other champ contenders like Slaughter or Travis Beckner. That 26 is going to be fast all season long.
Cameron Hearn popping out of line deeper in the field, maybe not liking where he's running at the moment, and he's going to drop on back. He's got a long way to go. Braxton DeWeese is at the very tail end here and has the entire field ahead of him. But you got a lot of time left tonight, and you have pit stops and things to vault your way forward. What I wouldn't do, though, and I've learned this the hard way, if you got a field this big, sometimes it can be risky to sit back here, because if the field doesn't have a big one and they don't clear themselves out, at some point you have to pass all of them, and then you have less laps than when you started. So you have to get going at some point, because if they're all 42 cars or trucks are still there at lap 80, now you're not going to win.
Definitely something you have to pay attention to, but it's such a hard decision because you don't want to be in that 2x2 action which would go wrong. At any moment, crash in the back half of the field. Multiple cars, cautions out, Therian's around Garrett Grant, I think Sam Fontaine, Gak Jones, and that happened out of nowhere into turn 3.
Early crash, lap 7. And Gak Jones was one of those that started at the very tail of the field. And
Dylan Lee's got damage.
Back and see if we can find out where this happened. Is it ahead of him or was it with him?
Grant was in it. Garrett Grant's ahead of him. It's at the front, and it looks like maybe Curran was in it as well.
Oh, Gak Jones just caught right at the very end. But you're right, Garrett Grant was one of the beginning parties here. So they're pretty spread out behind this pack. Is there a checkup perhaps? Right there, the 0-1. Oh, there was a couple different parts of this.
That was maybe 2 separate checkups at once. That was really odd. Almost looked like maybe netcode. I think Tinch checked up, and I think Curhan ran him over, and then I think Dylan Lee at the front got into Danny Ware as well.
Yeah, so there's a checkup here. Look at the 6 is slow. There's the beginning of the checkup. The 0-1 and the 25, and then the 25 gets into the 49. That's where all that started, kind of where it all finished as well. But really, the 5, I think it's the worst of that.
Yeah, it wasn't really that big of a checkup, but it was like the 0-5 was Adam Capps was lifting, and they weren't ready for him to stay that far off. So Danny Ware, Gatlin Downey, they reacted at the last second. That caused a bigger stack up than what I think this would have been. So that's the way that this race starts, with a lap 7 crash, and some drivers with a decent amount of damage, but I don't think anyone's going to be out of the race because of this.
Yeah, a lot of drivers from about 20th on back are going to peel down to pit lane, though. That's interesting. Maybe just a fuel strategy call here. Get some fuel packed in the tank and bank on having that later. That's not a bad strategy early in the going.
No, it goes both ways. No reason not to pit if you're in the back, especially if you have damage. And also if you're at the front, the leader like Scioli, there's no reason to pit and give up that track position when you're leading, as he's glitching his truck out over the transition into banking. Actually are some drivers with decent damage. Therian, Garrett Grant has a decent bit, and I think Dylan Lee already went the pit road to repair some.
So working lap 9 of 90 now, and let's have a look here at how things are looking as far as manufacturer alignment. Scioli, Stafford, Matheson, Toyota, Chevy. And the first Ford is the 07 down in 7th place. Not a lot of the Ford F-150 represented here in the field tonight, I have to say.
Yeah, not a lot. There's the one team, those elite trucks that I believe are all in the Fords. I think the highest up, I might be wrong, not Greg Mitchell. Adam Capps is a little higher up. Trying to look, Joshua Balliet is 8th, and I think he might be the highest running. Yes, he is.
The field works their way around the yellow flag. I've noted an issue with the ticker that I'm going to try to sort in the background on this first yellow flag. Not rotating through the bottom half of the field, at least on the non-manufacturer ticker, so I'm going to fix that briefly while we're under yellow. Early opportunity and a nice chance to fix the thing. But Connor, in the early going here, we did see, I would say, pretty orderly racing, at least at the front half of the field, and the disorderly racing in the tail half is kind of what got us into trouble.
Yeah, definitely that can happen very easily. Even when things are orderly at the front, stack-ups can happen anywhere. They can happen from the very front. They can happen in 35th and go back to 43rd and cause a crash. So it's not really surprising to see that as we get the one to go here. It can easily happen. It'll likely not be the last time it'll happen. With a field this big, 43 trucks, and it'll continue to be 43 trucks, definitely more likely when we have these big fields. Maybe it's just very tough to avoid at a track this skinny as well. There's really barely any room for 3 wide at Daytona.
Yeah, you can do it, and we'll see it at the end of this race, I'm sure. We're not going to get through this entire night without doing 3 wide, but it is tough to manage that. Maybe a little easier in the trucks than it is in the Cup Series side of things, but definitely a lot to handle as far as going 3 wide is concerned. So 10 laps in, this effectively now is an 80-lap race. Front 20 or so trucks, Connor, did not make pit stops, and it's going to put them on a slightly different strategy for the rest of this race.
I'm trying to look at the first trucks that did pit. I think one of the first who came out after taking fuel might have been JT Poole or Justin Anasogak, so also Greg Mitchell as well. So it's around after the 2 of Mitchell is where we're going to see those drivers with a little more fuel. And if it did go green a long way, it could play a factor, but let's not hold our breath on that.
So Scioli and Stafford on the outside and inside respectively. Let us see if this ticker will oblige, and yes it will, so that's good to see. We get the 1 to green signal. We're coming back to the green this time through. As the Area Truck Series Season 5 about to get back underway.
Scioli's going to take the top. As sort of those team games that we're going to see all night long, drivers taking top and bottom to get their teammates in.
Here we go, coming back to the green flag, and there it is, green flag back in the air for the Area Truck Series here at Daytona. The outside lane got a pretty good launch. Help from Tom Bourne in the 16. And right down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, Bourne saw an opportunity, got immediately to the bottom. There's a little stack up. I don't know if it was Stafford or Matheson maybe jumping a little, but it didn't look like those two got hooked up very well at all. It's like, oh, the top line is almost the same color of truck up there with the 12 and David Weishart, and I think that's 03 of John Hall up there.
A lot of disorganization, and now we're 3 wide. Casey Laconis is in the middle here. Off into 3.
And these guys got to be careful because they could easily lose the lead pack. They're already pretty far back, led by Austin Gack-Jones.
Yeah, getting organized here. After a restart, too, everyone sees opportunity to move forward here when they've got big pushes and things. It'll sort itself out, but right now, big moves here, especially at the front of the field. Gary Waterworth in the 12, up to the outside lane with help from David Weishart. And you mentioned all the same color. really is that way. Blue and white, blue and white, blue and white.
Jake Matson has to jump up. He's out of line, I would say. It's the same truck as a 03, basically, just a different number. As trying to look at the field, not too many big movers, even through the pit stops that we had. Kevin Stein, 18th to 8th. Mason Kane has gone 24th to 10th, and we are starting to see maybe a little bit of a third lane with Travis Beckner, trying to see who's pushing him. Slaughter's up through the field as well, and that is, oh, look, what a surprise, JT Poole right behind Beckner, and they've already found each other.
And are they going to commit to that third line? It looks like they are. To split that red truck, is that Brad Slaughter?
Yes. We got takers up there as well. This is all just testing for the end of the race.
Yeah, and it's working, as we can see. You just have to have two really committed drivers, and you're going to go forward like this. But for how long and how far can you get before you run out of steam up here, or space?
I think people jumping up in front of you is the best thing you can do. You don't want them at the end of a race, but to keep the temps low for the pusher, you need people to jump up every now and then, like Mason Kane just did.
Oh, 3 wide, 3 deep. That's not going to work. This is really aggressive here early, because now Poole, oh, look at that 0-5 stuck in the middle, Adam Capps. There's not a lot of space. Justin Munsell, right in the middle of everything here.
Yeah, also in the middle, and that bottom line losing steam big time down into the tri-oval, and that top line is almost there as David Weishart gets his first or second lap led, and that top line has already gotten to the front.
Yeah, really strong effort there. Mason Kane leading the way. Little push off the bumper of Travis Beckner, though. This is wild. 14 laps into this 90-lap race, 3x3, 10 rows deep.
I think a lot of people are under the assumption you get one wreck out of the way and you're good. I don't think that's true. 14 laps in, going hard for the lead, and that bottom line just dropping, led by Gary Waterworth, who jumped in front of a 7 of Scioli. And here goes John Hall to the bottom. He's going to put Weishart in the middle with no help for a little bit. And that will really help Mason Kane. Like you said, extremely aggressive for lap 14.
Yeah, I think right now we're establishing that you can run 3 wide if you're careful about it, but Kane drops to the middle groove. That's going to open up the outside lane for Beckner with a big shove from JT Poole. I don't think you can do this for 75 laps, though. Something's going to have to give, and probably sooner than later.
And it's no surprise we're seeing a second pack just laying back at this point. Brad Slaughter Jr. was in this pack. He's 19th now. He's just letting them go. Him and Bryce Senesac in the middle of the 2 packs. They are not wanting anything to do with that, and I can't blame them.
Big shove up the center now.
Oh,
what
man,
truck is that
Weishart?
third in line? Is that Kevin Stein?
In the middle, or?
Yeah, it is Kevin Stein.
The bottom, leading the bottom, yes. Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah, dark blue on black numbers, hard to read. There he is, center track. Big wiggle out of turn 4. Look at that pack.
That is insane. You would think it's the final lap. It's not. It's always a little bit worrying when you got drivers you don't know the names of in there as well. Stein's struggling a little bit in the middle. You can see the drivers behind him. Munsell just lifted. He's giving him a lot of room. You got to be careful and kind of feel out those drivers you've never raced with before, like the 92.
And the 11 of Dawson Miller on the high side there as well. Big lane change mid-turn for the 0-7.
Dropping.
Yep, and I think Gary said, all right, had enough. Did he get a lap let out of that at least?
I thought so.
Yes.
He was on the bottom.
He did.
And I can't blame him. I mean, look how sparse. This pack was much more packed in, but more drivers are realizing, okay, this isn't really smart. I don't want this anymore. So more and more drivers just kind of lifting and giving spaces. Now you got Mason Kane, Beckner, and JT Poole all leading lines.
So the more space that you give, the bigger the runs get. So it's that half in between single file and 3 wide that makes me the most nervous.
It's a double-edged sword in that case.
Absolutely. Travis Beckner is now middle with JT Poole, the driver that gave him the big shoves, up on the outside, but the outside lane is dying. The 28 and 26 strong together, maybe not so strong apart.
Yeah, maybe they really do need to find each other at the end of this race, and they'll be an unstoppable force. That's kind of the same way Jeremy Miller and Spencer Burns was looking last night before the turn 4 incident, but yeah, those two are definitely the duo to watch out for, no doubt about it. You got to give credit to Weishart too. He's fast at these tracks too. As we got to move, it's John Hall to the middle in front of Beckner.
Field leaves turn 4, huge pack of cars, and we've still got everybody that was started the race still in the race despite that early crash. Not big enough hits to take anybody completely out of it. John Hall, as you mentioned, Connor, gets the push to the lead.
Yeah, welcome to area, I would say. It's one way to get the lead with some teammates at the front as well. And like you said, no one out of the race, no one out of the lead pack either. Not enough damage to hurt anyone, but much more spread out with drivers laying back as Beckner goes back for the lead on the 0-3 of Hall. 3 seconds separating first from last.
Big shove from Kane onto Hall. That was a huge shot. That was a slam draft if I've ever seen one. And Justin Asogak up in the outside lane, winner from last year's race.
The advantage of new damage model, you can slam draft a little better, still not the preferred method, but you can get away with it if you're just careful and you can trust the driver in front of you enough to hold it.
Nice run on the outside for JT with his assistance from that 88 truck.
Beckner blinked out there for a moment. Definitely going to have to monitor that. It's the last thing you need at a super speedway. This big run on the top side.
Look at the middle run, the 92 of Stein with a big run, but nowhere to go with it. And Beckner's run runs out, and the 0-3 is going to use that shorter line again to pull even and pull to the front once again, for at least the time being.
And look how aggressive Beckner is trying to stay on the 0-3's door. It didn't work out at Vegas last season, but working a little better this time with a little bit more room between the two trucks, as still 3 abreast, many rows deep as John Hall leads another lap.
Laps are clicking away. 20 laps complete of 90, almost a quarter of the way through this race. And only 1 yellow so far, and this is a very aggressive way to race. Let's also keep our eye on the pit window as well, Connor. We're not that far away from it. Let's consider that. Half the field also already pit.
Oh, wow. Pool cut across Beckner's nose, just barely there. They get all the way to the bottom.
Boy.
They almost didn't fully clear John Hall. Aggressive early, but they get those 2 trucks to the very front of this pack through all that. And like you said, we're going to have to look at pit strategy because some of these drivers might be only 20 away, but all those back half drivers who pit might have 10 more laps.
Oh, big block there by Poole. He's going to get sucker hold here through the middle. That did not work. You see the disappointment on his face. Beckner on the bottom, Weishart up top.
I'm also not surprised that they didn't go with him. A block on lap 20 is not something that a lot of drivers are going to put up with no matter who it is. So it's going to be the 92 pushing, it's going to be the 6 of Munsell who got by the 92 pushing in the middle now.
Everybody forms their opinions on you pretty early in the race. So if you throw a block or do something unpredictable, they're going to remember that. But Poole gets shoveled to the front by none other than Justin Munsell, who was a go-or-go-homer tonight. And he is making it his mission to be heard tonight.
Go homer, but he's still always fast, always looking for wins. A few poles at the end of the season. Had the heartbreak at Dega to miss the playoffs, obviously, but still always fast week in, week out. The new paint scheme this season as well. Trying to look at it. Was it Tahoe Bell vodka? I could not see it. I'm probably reading it wrong, but it's still a pretty nice paint scheme, and it's looking good going to the front after starting back in 17th.
Yeah, nice launch so far. Really tight onto the inside with the 0-3 of Hall. But has good pace and isn't afraid. Beckner, big wiggle off the nose of the 0-3.
You could see the gloves, the virtual gloves working left and right there off the bumper of the 0-3 as, we saw some blinkers back there, but they're all clear as that second pack is still giving plenty of room to the drivers working 3x3 at the front.
Out of turn 4. Still, they've been 3x3 now since the restart, which was 12 laps ago. This has got to be exhausting mentally, Connor, to stay in line like this for so long, especially if you're in the middle. Top and bottom is one thing. You've got some guides, whether it's the lines or that outside fence, but the middle, you don't have much to go off of.
Yeah, but the drivers who can withstand this and have mental toughness for this entire run are the ones who are usually at the front to the very end, like Beckner, who now has 2 Area 500 titles to his name. It pays off being in the thick of it for so long if you figure out more and more how to make it work and stay up there and even avoid the crashes at times. We're at 92, a little squirrely at the top from a few trucks right now, and they're losing steam up there because of it.
Yeah, it doesn't look super comfortable all the way up in that outside groove. I always like being on the bottom in these long run 3 wide or even 2 wide scenarios because I have it out. If you're on the high side, if something underneath you happens, you're going to get packed in and have nowhere to go. So I like being on the bottom to avoid anything, even though getting pinched is no
92.
fun.
92 is an issue, really stacking up the top lane. Don't know what happened there. He blew up.
Oh,
His
boy.
engine blew. But everyone somehow avoided without crashing for now. But he's blown the engine on that 92 truck.
Not a good time to do that in the middle of the field. Everybody's going to scatter. There's the smoke. That'll alert them. So he just overheated in the draft. And that's the first time I've seen that in a very long time, Connor. The engine expiring in these things. And now it finally went all the way. But let's just ride on board and just listen.
He was pushing Weishart for a long time, and I think it goes into a corner here. Yep.
And Anna Sogak and crew behind did an exceptional job there, not running him over when that was happening, but that's an early end of the night for a very competitive truck out front.
Yeah, it's probably maybe a little bit of an experience. Haven't seen Kevin Stein. He was fast and he was at the front, but maybe an experience not knowing where that limit is for pushing with the oil temp. But like you said, great job by those guys to not cause a big pileup. That usually always ends up in chaos, but just one truck out of the race since Kevin Stein.
3 by 3 by 3 by 3 by 3, 5 rows. That's 15 trucks.
Someone's reminded you before that's not how that works.
Oh.
That is a lot more than 15 if you multiply all those.
Yeah, well, at least the front group, that is all pretty wide. There's a handful of single file trucks behind it, then some double wide. Bronson Stafford up top, and Jake Matheson, a strong run in the early going for that 52 truck. Started up in the outside of the front row, and there he is on the outside again. Now a push from the 61.
He's going to block Stafford's advance, let JT pull in through the middle, and they have a run. Him and Munsell are working together, so these three lines dead even into turn 3 once again, like we've seen all race long.
Out of turn 4 here, up onto the Daytona Tri-Oval. Only one yellow so far for a multi-car crash in 3 and 4, but since then, since the lap 10 restart, we've been green. Laps ticking away here at Daytona for the Area Truck Series, the beginning of Season 5. Now, if you look across the calendar for the season, we can go to a pretty wide variety of racetracks, but it's 3 1.5 milers up next. Las Vegas, Kentucky, and then Atlanta. But, of course, Atlanta is a very different story now than it used to be.
Yeah, I wish you could call it a real 1.5 miles, but it's not. But that'll definitely be interesting. Getting another early super speedway type race as blocking at the front, or just Matheson trying to get to the bottom. He does get in front of Poole. Munsell side drafts. We got stacking up near the back. I think Garrett Grant was in there, but they kept it straight. I thought that was going to be a crash back there, though, but they kept it straight.
Yeah, that's what triggered the first accident, was a couple of checkups just getting exacerbated the further back you went. But up front, still 3 wide, almost a touch there between Eric Weiland. How did Eric Weiland sneak in there? We didn't really mention him, but he's right in the thick of it now.
Started 15th, up the 3rd out of nowhere. I could have swore he pit, but not fully sure. Stafford blinked on the top. Never want to see that, but yeah, definitely a good job getting up there. But these pushes are getting more and more wild. I think you don't usually see tire wear come into play at this track, even in the trucks, but you got to wonder if these drivers are getting closer and closer because of that, possibly.
Cameron Hearn gave a really big shot to Bronson Stafford to push him up to the front.
It's another one. Where did he come from?
He dropped all the way to the back earlier. I think we might be able to track it if I pull the graphic back up again. Low of 38.
Wow.
And now back to second. And maybe the lead this time. Yes.
Yeah, he led that lap by 9 1/1000ths of a second. So already to the front through all that, but losing steam as here comes Stafford through the middle. He won't block it. He'll let them advance. Now it's just 3 trucks on the top. It's Hearn, Curhan, and Greg Mitchell. I believe all teammates.
Down the backstretch here, working our way towards the 1/3 mark of this event. At a pretty fervent pace, I should add. Laps are taken away really quick. Hearn's outside lane just died. Now we're back to 2 wide here for the first time in almost 20 laps.
Spoke too soon. There go the elite trucks. Some of those F-150s. James Shane Wolf up there to push Joshua Galliette. Oh yeah, got a few. Maybe 4 trucks. Looks like all the Weishart trucks are in.
So that's about a half dozen or so that will head on to pit lane. Oh, trouble, turn 1.
Oh.
Wineland goes around in the field, and this is going to be a big one. Oh, man.
Still no caution. Finally, the caution's out. Cameron Hearn's totaled. Bronson Stafford is on his side and rolling down the banking. And that was a big, big crash.
Bronson Stafford upside down, second caution of the night. That was a big one, and a very lucky break for those that just pit, I should add.
Yeah, those Weishart trucks, good break, as Stafford will likely be done for the night after that tumble, as he rode the wall after his hit. Huge hits for a number of drivers. Hearn hit hard as well. It started around Eric Wineland, and it might have been with Stafford as well. Let's see here. Pushing, getting aggressive with Munsell as well.
Yeah, just trying to catch the where the 21 is.
I think Wineland and Munsell got hooked together. Oh, wow. Hearn took a shot from Stafford.
I think I might have just crashed my timing software. Oh, there we go. I got it. So if I wanted to go back and look again, let's looking for the 21 of Wineland and off into turn 1. So watch the 21 here. So he gets into the 61 of Stafford right there. They ride up the hill together. And then they go around. Oh, man, you mentioned Hearn. Wow, he took a big hit.
Yeah, that definitely looked like, I don't think Wineland got much out of that either, but that Ford's truck's destroyed. But it looked like the way Wineland went up the track, wow. They just couldn't save it. 2 big hits, really. After, like, the way he went up the track, it looked like he was right hooked a little bit by the 6th. And I think that, oh my God, that camera, man, is toast.
Yeah, Bronson Stafford took that one out, for sure. Oh, man, that was a huge hit.
Whew.
And let's ride on board with Bronson Stafford and get the full effect of this.
Be a good, he won't see much. He's minding his own business in 3rd.
Almost had it saved, too, and then just right there.
Yikes.
The second yellow of the night, and it is a big one. Maybe it's not the big one just yet, but that was a lot of trucks involved in that one. David Weishart is your leader, and we'll try to update you on who is involved and who is not. But I'll tell you, Travis Beckner is listed as out, so is Stafford and Hearn. Stein obviously had that engine expire. Michael Curhan has been on pit lane for quite some time. Matthew Rodriguez, Dylan Lee, and more.
Yeah, I thought Beckner got through fine, but apparently he had some damage. But yeah, I guess he's back on track. That was weird. I think he's having internet issues. I saw him blink once, but he is coming out of pit road with some. He had right rear damage, but a lot of drivers took damage. Obviously Stafford, Gary Waterworth, Greg Mitchell was totaled in that. Culberson, Curhan, Dylan Lee got more damage, but yeah, like you said, maybe not the big one, but it definitely was a big one. A lot of drivers got big damage out of that.
Yeah, right out of the 3rd mark of this race. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trucks that are not back on the racetrack yet that were involved in that collision. Wow.
Yeah, and through all that, like you said, it was a pretty great strategy call ending up for the David Weishart Racing trucks. They all cycle to the front, and they're really going to be on the same exact strategy. It's Weishart, Grant, and Bryce Senesac. They had others who pit. Not sure where they went. But those 3, at least, definitely worked out for them.
Well, like I say, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and that's one of those scenarios, right? You can't really predict that that's going to happen, so you can take your best guess at it, but I think they just needed to pit, and they came down pit lane, and they're going to cycle out to the front of this field. Now, a bunch of the trucks that I just mentioned that were on pit lane have come back out in various states of repair, but the 2 trucks that are definitely out, well, 3, Bronson Stafford, Cameron Hearn, and Kevin Stein.
Yeah, no surprise that those are 2 out, but at least the only silver lining for the guys who are still in the race is that on the old damage model, you probably are done regardless, as other drivers might still be even at the back. But after a wreck like that, only having 2 trucks out, that is a little bit surprising, as we'll get the restart here on lap 33 with still over half the race to go.
Yeah, a little ways to go still. The laps were clicking away. I mean, we went about 22 laps or so without, 3 wide, however many rows deep you want to count, without any incident there. So let's see if we'll do the same this time through.
How wild was it where it just got too wide at the front? We saw 3x3 for 20 laps, and then the moment that third lane kind of went away and we went to 2 lanes near the front, that's when the crash happened.
Well, that's like what I was saying earlier is you create these vacuums where you can drive up through and make big runs. That's what gets you in trouble. It's not the 3 wide. It's about the preparation or the vacuum from 3 wide where the big runs are that are the most dangerous of all. So David Weishart takes the outside lane for the restart. Garrett Grant is on the inside. And it's JT Poole, Bryce Senesac, Justin Munsell, Matheson, Kane, Valiette, Caps, and Scioli, the rest of your top 10. We haven't really talked a lot about Scioli tonight, but has been in the conversation all night long.
Definitely has been. As we roll to the Geico restart zone, green flag back out. Weishart takes top and gets a big jump in front of his teammate Garrett Grant. As so much of the field single file at the bout. That's how many drivers had damage as JT Poole pushes Weishart clear, but no one behind him.
So now what happens in the wake of all that organization? Do we see 3 wide again, or do we go to these 2 truck tangos like we're seeing now? Grant gets a big shove there from Senesac on the bottom, and behind Matheson and Kane, but they're going to split and pick different lanes down the backstretch.
And Mason Kane, I assume no third lane. He has no help. Munsell up to the top. Scioli follows Munsell through the 6 and the 7 together as 2x2 at the front. Still pretty orderly pack near the back as well, with some damaged trucks losing the pack, as we'll note them a little later. But for now, Weishart continues in the lead. Little squirrely off the bumper of JT Poole, though.
Cross start finish line, 35 laps into this 90-lap event. Now we're 3 wide, a little deeper in the field. Brian Swan, I think, is one of those trucks. On the bottom.
Like Alex Cummings in the middle as well. 98 Mark Brannigan, haven't talked about him yet. Dawson Miller in the Hardee's 11. I think they're going by Brad Slaughter, who finally gets down back to the middle lane. As that bottom lane has nothing going right now. Weishart's clear with Poole and Kane. Not Kane, but the top 2 clear.
JT Poole sits in second. He's going to drop to the bottom, though, just like that. And David Weishart now leads the top groove.
Instantly got a shot from Mason Kane, so stays just on the right rear of that 26 truck. Squirrely off the front bumper, though. The pushes, even after that crash, still aggressive.
Well, the last crash was caused by side-to-side contact, not even front to rear. So I think they're feeling pretty confident in those nose-to-tail pushes. It's just the side-to-side stuff that got them in trouble last time out. But as you know, Connor, too much of a push in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's going to lead to disaster.
Sure, we're not out of the woods with that yet either, as we're working lap 36. Still solidly 2 lanes, did not jump 3 wide immediately this time. And I won't speak too soon, as Weishart's still getting a solid push from Kane. It's Poole and Garrett Grant with Bryce Senesac on the bottom, but here goes Mason Kane and Matheson. They're going to dump Weishart to the middle, but Munsell is going to follow Weishart and not leave him.
Yeah, got sucker hold there, but now the 52 is the odd driver out. Oh, look out. Mason Kane, middle slow. Big checkup there from the 33 and the 6 together.
Yeah, that was really aggressive there, as we're starting to see aggressive already. Poole, big block on Garrett Grant. Weishart to the top. Now here goes the 52 to the middle with the 31 of Kane. Grant back to the top. And just like we didn't wreck, because everyone's going crazy like it's a lap slap. Kane to the bottom, big move.
Yeah, he is not waiting around behind that 26. JT Poole just got schooled right there. Drops right to the bottom in front of the 09. And for a moment, we can take a breath, but we know it's about to pop off again.
Yeah, for sure, as the middle lane's trying to catch its bearings back. And Munsell and Scioli paired up again. It's Weishart and Grant. Oh, big blink. Oh, it's JT Poole.
Everybody scatters.
Some chaos.
There's cars on the apron that need to get back up on the road. That was the 16 at Tom Bourne.
Yeah, that was a really weird blink too, but he gets out of the way with nothing else happening after that as Kane continues to lead. Looks like Grant got to the bottom. The 6 is still stuck with just Scioli, not getting a lot of help. Also, Austin Gack-Jones has almost gotten into the top 10, even has some damage to boot.
Ooh, big movements here. Not as smooth as we saw earlier when we were 3 wide. This is pretty frantic driving. Where's Michael Curhan in all of this?
Very end of the pack in 40th with damage, and he is at the very end of this pack.
I think we owe him at least this. How many incident points will we have? We had 410 in the Cup race. Connor, your best guess is better than mine, just because you were here last night and I wasn't.
We've already had more crashes in the first 70 laps, so I'm gonna go 484, I guess. That's my best guess. Is this a new guessing game besides picking the winner?
I'll go 500.
I'll
take the over.
Price is writing me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not cool.
Side by side for the top spot here, Matheson and Mason King.
We're back to 2 wide just as quickly as it got 3. I think no one was feeling that after JT Poole's blinking incident.
The 2 wide feels easy after what we did the first 30 laps or so.
One day someone's going to try 4, and it's going to get them in trouble. Just watch. At this track, Dega doesn't count. You can do 4 there. But here comes the 3rd lane. It's Jacob Bell and Justin Sogak. Weishart just got in front of those 2.
Yeah, Jacob Bell, where'd he been? He started pretty deep in the field, 33rd. And is now up. He's been dead last as well, back as far as 43rd place. And now making moves here in the Chevy Silverado up on the high side.
Last season's runner-up in the Area 500. Didn't have the same almost situation this season, but still very fast at these tracks. Knows how to get to the front. He's already to the front. Even I thought he had a little bit of damage, but that truck looks good enough to run at the front. Also, Brad Slaughter all the way from the back himself. He started 39th. He's in 9th.
We're back to 3 wide. However many rows deep you want to count. 1, 2, 3. Lost track. Lost
at least
interest.
6.
It's
6 trucks in the middle.
It's a long
Close
ways
enough.
back. Yep. David Weishart back to the lead, cuts across the road. Bell tried to go with him, but the Matheson truck was there.
That was a huge move. Weishart goes to the bottom. We'll see if he blocks the middle.
There they go.
Crash! Munsell, Slaughter around. Scioli to the inside. It is another huge crash. Grant hard into the inside wall. Few huge hits for some drivers.
3rd caution of the night.
Oh.
This one out of turn 4. We've had them in 3 different areas this evening.
Yeah, you can't name the trouble spots because they're all trouble spots as caution number 3 flies. I saw our reigning champion Scioli was in that as well. Not sure how much damage. Weiland went through pit road to avoid.
Yeah, Grant just off the bottom the slightest bit. And then he almost had it saved and then got recollected.
Yeah, he definitely took the biggest hit.
Now watch this. He gets hit by the 6, has it straightened out, and then
Scioli.
hit again. And then who? Was that Therian that carved his way through there?
I thought that was Dylan Lee. Let's see. That might have been It might have been Therian, yeah.
Where is Therian? I don't even see him on the timing and scoring.
He's way at the back. He's the purple truck. What does he see here?
Whoa.
Oh my God, did he get nothing out of that?
That has to be the avoidance of the year, and this is only race 1.
Well, that happened last season. Remember Ricky Harden's avoidance? And that was pretty darn good too, but I don't see a scratch on that 38.
Well, right there, he did get some initially, and then just happened to slide right past everybody else.
Colin Farnborough went spinning. I think Eric Wineland hit Gary Waterworth as well, but we'll see what happens. Look at his path.
Yeah, watch this 38. So it's going to get into the 11 here as they check up, but then watch where he spins. Right through.
That is nuts. JT Poole barely avoided as well. He saw on the bottom left, Wineland had a hip check to Waterworth just trying to avoid. Oh, he missed his pit stall. That's how you ruin the moment.
Yeah.
I'm still not in. There you go.
Probably going to have a little bit of damage to fix. It looks like the entire field is back on pit lane again.
Yeah, still probably not in good to go range, but darn close if he got more yellows, as there's Anna Sogak, a little damage to him. As all these drivers come off a pit lane. Tom Petchin, haven't talked about him a lot. Looks like that 69 Silverado is okay. Powerhouse Racing. Therian comes out behind him. I was about to note before we crashed, Bronson Stafford somehow got that truck back on the track 10 laps down, by the way. So that is a miracle in itself.
Yeah, you know, the new damage model is extremely forgiving as far as parts repair. And as far as I know, there's no limit to the number of times that you can have a body panel replaced. So that might serve to keep these big wrecks big. But it'll also keep a lot of trucks running.
It's going to make league owners implement their own caution clock, their crash clock.
Yeah, I'd say so. Well, we are a ways into this race now, working almost to halfway. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series on Monday and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. And we've had a number of SimWrap Market replays. Race fans, be sure to visit simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. Stats so far, 10 leaders, 17 lead changes. Of the 43 laps, 36 have been green flag, and 3 cautions so far.
And out of all this, we'll get another restart as we're still not quite the halfway. We're about to cross it once we take the green flag next time by, but have a new leader. Jacob Bell did not pit. He might have been the only one to not pit as well, so it's kind of a little bit surprising that he didn't come down. So we'll see how off strategy he is compared to everyone.
Well, he's 11 laps off strategy here, and show you that via this graphic here as well. This is the stint length, and Jacob Bell's got 12 laps on his. Everyone else fresh out of the pits. You can also see laps led. Have a look at that, and give you an idea of who's been out front tonight. Scioli, 13 laps led, 37th place. Has some work to do.
Yeah, Grant took the biggest hit, but that 7 did have a lot of damage, so looks like he got it repaired, so he'll be able to get back up to the front, I would think, but might have lost some teammates out of that, as I don't think, even after that crash, many drivers are out. Braxton DeWeese is the only one left on pit road at this point.
All right, so coming back to the restart, this will be a restart into the halfway mark of this race, lap 45 of 90. About 37 minutes of racing to go.
And plenty of time for a lot of those drivers who are repairing damage to get back in this race. A little harder to do, but it's still doable. Guys like Thierry and Scioli, they have plenty of time to make something happen.
Pace truck's gonna make that left-hand turn onto pit lane. And Jake Matheson and Jacob Bell will bring us back to the green flag on lap number 45. And 41 trucks still running. Green flag back in the air. Into turn 3. Nice orderly double file lines. Matheson just noses ahead of Kane, but Kane's going to have that momentum out of turn 4 with the assistance of John Hall in the 0-3. Teammates on the outside and the inside.
Making it work, though. They've been at the front virtually this entire race, as has Mason Kane, has been very aggressive. I said Beckner and Poole were aggressive, but Mason Kane might be even more aggressive the way he's been making moves tonight, and that's going to bode well if he can keep his truck up there as we stay 2 by 2. When do we get that third lane?
Yeah, Kane has been really aggressive with his moves. Hasn't gotten him in trouble yet like it has a few others, so far so good. There's a trust factor in there as well. The more moves you make, the less that drivers will trust you, unless you're making moves that help them.
Yeah, if you're hurting someone else, they will never help you again. I've learned that. That's kind of how it goes sometimes. But I think the 03, the 52, all these guys are going to realize that if you want to go to the front, you probably got to be with probably the 31. It's a pick of about 3 or 4 trucks. So that's what you got to pay attention to the first 2/3 or so.
Onto the bottom groove, Matheson pulls ahead again. Jacob Bell on the inside lane. Travis Beckner in there as well. Remember, he was involved in one of those earlier incidents. Back up to 6th place.
Yeah, it did not take too long for him to get through all the other incidents and get back up there 3rd in lane on the bottom. Has pretty even lanes right now, as looks like Matheson's going to clear the 31 of Mason Kane, as Bell, off strategy from everyone else, is going to push him through.
Oh, big blink there for the 77, yeah. And again, they're just condensing the field after only a couple of laps of green. They're just able to close back in on each other so effectively. Couple cars getting shuffled out of line in the background there. The 12, Gary Waterworth.
Thought I saw Anna Sogak there as well. I think he's the one pushing Brad Slaughter, trying to maybe look at a 3rd lane, but the 88 has some door damage that might be hurting him, so nothing doing right now. A lot of the guys who would take that 3rd lane or lead that 3rd lane are out of this race. The main one being Cameron Hearn, who's always the guy to be the first one up there, is out of this race, so someone else is going to have to try it and try to lead a line besides the 3 drivers, Poole and Beckner and Mason Kane.
Brad Slaughter Jr. pops out of line to go 3 wide high. Does anybody jump ahead of him? Does anyone jump behind him? Looks like he's going to have assistance from, is that the 88 of Anna Sogak? Looks like it.
Yeah, Anna Sogak, 3rd lane, that green truck's James Shane Wolf. They need drivers to get in front, though. I don't think Anna Sogak has enough truck-wise to get a big run.
Ooh, big
Mark
shove.
Brannigan, yeah, big shove. Mark Brannigan jumps up, 98. Haven't talked about him tonight either. Like, he'll be the one going down the straightaway, first in line.
Man, they're 3 wide again. Oh, look out. Slaughter tried 4. I don't think he meant to do that, but he had the nose stuck up the inside of the 98 of Brannigan Jr., who started at the tail of the field.
He was our last driver in.
He was. Didn't qualify. Little contact there, almost. Lap 50.
I think Slaughter and Anna Sogak probably weren't cool with the pinching and holding the line, so they're just going to stay back to the middle lane for the time being. But that 3rd line's still going to have some drivers in it. Shane Wolf stayed up there, and Gatlin Downey, haven't talked about him tonight either. He's up close to the top 10 as well. He's going to try to push that line.
Into turn 3, Mason Kane on the outside, Matheson on the inside. And 02 of Jason Dalton, another driver we haven't talked a lot about tonight, started midfield. And just like many others, he's gone back to front at some point tonight.
You know, the more crashes we get, the more of these drivers we haven't seen all night are going to make their way to the front as Dylan Lee gets shuffled out. Ooh, that 98's getting squirrely. But also, because of that, what might happen is these drivers who haven't been in the pack, haven't been 3 wide a lot of the night, it could get very, very dicey, more than we've even seen all night as Matheson goes to the front.
Yeah, they just cannot help themselves, can they, this evening?
It's hard.
Yeah, they're letting the dark forces talk to them. Go 3 wide. Do it. Go for
the
it.
Kermit meme.
Yeah, exactly. No patience tonight. It's working out for him, I'll say.
I should run single file and 40 at the Dark Voice has got a 4 wide lap 30.
Out of turn 4, and look, I mean, they've been doing a pretty good job. I know they've had a couple accidents, but despite that, you know, they really have kept it green for a lot longer than I would think, based on how they're racing.
It hasn't really been the 3 wide that caused any of the 3 incidents either.
Right.
One was a check up, the other one was 2 wide. The third one was really just someone getting a little tight out of the corner, so I wouldn't even credit this aggressive 3 wide for any of the crashes right now. They're doing solid so far doing it.
Still a long way to go, just under 40 laps. But that can go quick. Remember, we can take off about a lap and a half a minute. Almost. Ooh, a lot of shuffling. Slaughter to the bottom.
Not only is it a long way to go. I believe we're going to still have a pit stop to go. I don't believe those drivers
yes.
have pit near halfway, or we're not going to get anywhere close to making it 45-plus laps on fuel. So still got that to worry about as well if we get there.
But you mentioned that, and I think we're about 10 laps away from a fuel window opportunity as well, about 30 laps to go. So do you wait or do you pit earlier and get out of the fray? And the pack is making pretty good speed, but if you have a group of friends that can run single file, you might be able to go quicker than this pack.
Well, that's what I think we were going to see with the Weishart trucks. They were going to do that, and then the yellow came out, so it worked out for them, but we didn't really get to see what that strategy was going to be. So I think about 10 laps from now, I wouldn't be surprised to see drivers pit. I think Jacob Bell's going to need the friends and friends. If this goes green, he's 10 laps less fuel than everyone else, so I think we're going to see some teams try that with maybe groups of 6 is, I think, the sweet spot for these trucks.
Ooh, line gate a little loose off the bumper of Shane Wolf in that green 01 that we've been talking about. And Brannigan himself, driver that started last today.
And the first time all night, while we're 3x3, we might see some lack of traffic. Some drivers who didn't catch the pack or just lost it. Braxton DeWeese, Eric Wineland, Garrett Grant are all coming up soon. This big bump on the bottom from Matheson to Kane.
Well, you said earlier that we can't or shouldn't or wouldn't do 4. We might have to do 4 wide here shortly. One of them might have to take to the apron, though.
Does that count? I guess that counts as 4.
I would consider that counting.
It's all up to DeWeese on what he wants to do. He's going to stick to the bottom. Or Willie's kind of
bad place to catch him. And the field has thankfully sorted themselves out before they got there, but everyone's going to go around the outside. I don't think we have anybody still standing 3 wide, so that worked out better than I thought it was going to.
A little 3 wide in the back, but it's at the very back as they'll come up on Weiland as well, who will also stay bottom. So this is the most cars single file at the front we've seen all night. It's 5 cars, 5 trucks. At the end of it being Travis Beckner, who's found himself in the top 5.
Oh, Little's going to get pinched here.
Quick breakaway.
13's got nowhere to go, and he has to lift.
And then one more in Garrett Grant, and then that'll be it for a little while. It's the most orderly we've seen the lead all night long.
Oh, give it 5 laps.
I didn't say it was going to last.
Fair point. I do think that, this is a great opportunity to hit pit lane. If you can go 35 laps, I would come now because you got the field pretty much strung out. If you get 3 wide again and get middle, you're not going to get the opportunity that you want to hit pit lane. You'll have to slow up to bail out.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if we see people come in at 60. You got to leave a little leeway just in case you get a green-white checkered, depending on the extra laps that will give you. So I think this would be pushing it a little bit, but I think you could make it from here, but I don't think we'll see anyone in, as we're still waiting for that main part of the pack led by Brad Slaughter to catch back up to these top 7.
71 is Sam Fontaine. We haven't talked a lot about this evening. He's carving his way up into the top 15. Been as high as 9th so far, but rides 14th right now.
Oh, we also haven't talked about the guy in front of him. That's Colin Fambro, who was in the last crash, but he kept it pretty not damaged at all. It's a pretty Valvoline scheme as well.
Yeah, really nice looking paint on this truck.
They moved on from drinking Pepsi to drinking Valvoline, I suppose.
Oh boy.
Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that, but regardless, he's up front.
Into turns 3 and 4. Look at the run he's got on the outside lane. He's going to catch the 88 of Anna Sogak and maybe even Weishart. That's top 10 if he can get to the 33.
And it's led by Braxton DeWeese, the lap truck. He's not off the pace. He just lost a draft because he didn't get out of the pits in time. And this is going to be a fight for the lucky dog. Grant, DeWeese, and Wineland have all stayed in this pack, so they're all going to have to fight for the lucky dog if they can catch a yellow and somehow not be a part of it.
Here's DeWeese, 38th. A lap down. He is the lucky dog for the time being.
Far out of pit road, it's Kevin Stein who finally repaired the engine on that truck.
I don't know how long that'll last. Can you repair the engine?
It takes half an hour, but it's always been repairable.
Huh.
He'll roll in last and maybe get another. He'll get a position from Cameron Hearn, for sure.
So out front, it is Mason Kane that leads the way. He's been...
pit stops.
Well, that was probably unexpected, but well, maybe not. About 30 laps to go. Brad Slaughter the first to take him down.
It's the YSR trucks again, but a few more join. Nathan Jump is in there as well, I think just tagging along. And Anna Sogak in there as well. So this is kind of around that lap 60 range where I said we would maybe see some drivers take fuel only, and it looks like that's what's happening. Slaughter only took fuel only. Gotta make sure you didn't speed either.
Yeah, I like that call though, right? I mean, the field's pretty orderly now, so come on down when you can. And the field might get messy again and slow themselves down. So they could leapfrog. I mean, they were already pretty close to the front, but they could leapfrog the rest of the pack if they continue to race really hard. Or we might see the rest of the field pit this lap.
We'll see if anyone does pit this lap. Their lap after, it looks like, oh,
Spinner.
Man, we got a crash.
One truck sideways. Greg Mitchell?
Eric Wineland.
Oh, the 21.
And that might have been a case of people not calling it out. Mitchell and Curhan came down. No one else did.
Yeah, so Mitchell's right ahead of him. Yeah, and Wineland had to bail, and he got tagged from behind.
That's an issue I've had. No one, even in the Cup race yesterday, no one was calling their pit entry, and that's what can happen. You cause crashes if you do it right in front of someone who doesn't know, and Wineland just got screwed over because of it. That's not really cool in my opinion.
The challenging thing is drivers that are slowing down before you get below that double yellow, right?
That too,
if you stay full throttle and then you pull down below the yellow and then you hit the brakes, not such a huge deal. But if you're lifting before you get to the flat, which you kind of have to do, then you're going to put the drivers behind you in a compromising position there. But Wineland's night already was pretty south, so he'll just probably pit and head back out. 30 to go.
Good. Yeah, it wasn't good, but he was still in the fight for the lucky dog at least. Matthew Rodriguez and Shane Therian, they were the only two trucks to come down on lap 60, so they'll be on their own. Mitchell and Curhan do come out with Slaughter and Weishart. The problem with the Weishart guys pitting, they didn't come out formed out at all. They all came out in tandems as Wineland comes out of pit road. So that line's not going to be really formed for a little while, and that could lose them a lot of time.
Yeah, it could. But all the drivers that are on the outside of this lane right now, they have to lift to pull into line. And they're going to lose a second or so doing that. So it might balance out. And especially if they get three wide again. I just don't know if anyone's going to do that.
Oh, wow. Someone entered pit road well too. I don't think Joshua Balliet tried to pit late. I'm not sure if he made that at all. I don't think he came even close.
Right on
It's
board.
as late as a pit entry I've ever seen at Daytona. There is no chance. No
way.
chance.
Yeah, that was not a practice maneuver there, I think, for that crew.
I respect the effort. I really do.
It looked like an all-star racing pit stop.
You don't want to do that at Daytona.
No, definitely not. Mason Kane still leads. John Hall and Matheson, the teammates, in tow. And another group going to peel off this time. Not this group.
Yeah. Reaching the point where a lot of these drivers are likely just to commit to go to the end of this fuel run and maybe hope to avoid the yellows. Pack's about 28 trucks at this point. That other line's led by Brad Slaughter Jr. Right now, they're about 35 seconds behind this lead pack. So that's the gap we're going to have to look at with that line of about 10 trucks.
And we're down to the final 20 minutes or so of this race, so it really is going to ramp up from here on out. You're going to be done pitting, assuming that you don't have any more damage to fix later. You're setting yourself up for this last run.
Even if you do have a little damage to repair, I'm not sure if you're at the front you're going to even bother. You really don't have time for it, and it's still hard to get to the front in a quick amount of time in these trucks. So even if you have a slight bit of damage like Anna Sogak did earlier, you're probably not repairing that to keep track position.
Working lap 64 now. Now these guys are about 22 laps into their stint, and they have about 25 laps to go.
Jacob Bell is 10 laps past that as well, so he has really not much time left, I wouldn't think.
He is 32 laps in on his stint, so he is running out of laps. But he's on the bottom. He's got a way to pull out. I think he would like to pit with a group, not on his own. So he might have to hold out another lap or three. And another group in the background.
Looks like 3 trucks. I think Danny Ware is one. And then Ryan Swan, Case Lacados. Oh, Ware missed a stall badly. It's going to hurt them big time.
Yeah, he'll just have to hope that he can pull back out with someone else that maybe had a slightly poor stop. Down the backstretch, 25 to go next time by. Still 2 by 2, many rows deep here. About 26 cars have yet to pit. The rest of the 41 runners on the racetrack have already made their pit stop.
And we're getting close to we're going to be at 25 to go, close to 20. I would think that 20 to go range could be where we see some more drivers come down, but also I think we're going to see if this goes green. A lot of drivers just going to the very end on their fuel stint and just taking a splash of fuel, trying to save that little bit of time. Because right now that second line they're staying somewhat even with the lead pack, but they're not gaining by any stretch.
I always love to leave myself a little bit of time to race, though. If you pit too late and you get back onto the racetrack and you find yourself in a disadvantage, not having enough time to gain any of that back or strategize around it, I always find is not great. I would rather pit a little sooner and leave myself a bit more time to actually maneuver through the field here, especially if we get a yellow flag. But I suppose maybe they're hanging on to hopefully get one of those, but I don't know how much that would help you. The rest of the field's still on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, the guys who have pit already, they're going to cycle to the front if you guys wreck, so you don't really want a yellow at this point because you're just going to lose your track position if you're Kane or John Hall. So definitely got to think about giving yourself room to race like we talked about, but you also do want to make sure you get the lowest amount of fuel possible. So it's a little bit of a balancing game. These drivers might catch some other lap traffic as well. I don't think Swan, Ware, and Ricardos stayed with them, so they might even get some extra help.
See a lot of drivers towards the back half of this group beginning to single file out, though. The 81 of Dwayne Culberson, Alex Cummings, Tom Bourne, Scioli's in this group, kind of getting single file, give themselves that opportunity to pit whenever they would like to.
And there's only about 6 more trucks, maybe 7 on the top lane at this point, and it's led by Gatlin Downey, who we haven't talked about all night long. He's up battling for the lead, but it's definitely a case where you're trying to get to the bottom to get ready for pit stop. Saw another truck jump down there. It might have been Adam Capps, so definitely seeing these drivers start to form up.
Well, and Jacob Bell has 36 laps on his fuel tank now, so that is beginning to wane, the volume that he's got remaining in the fuel cell.
I'm just still shocked he put himself in this position. Hopefully he has drivers around him that are aware.
Well, here he goes.
Looks like he's pitting.
Yep,
he's definitely got friends.
Going to pit with Kane and Beckner and Matheson, and the Matheson truck's really quick. He got it slowed down, though, and a big group of trucks behind, including JT Poole and a spinner in the pit lane.
Crash. Braxton DeWeese and Culberson, yes.
Now let's see if we can pick up how that happened.
That's easy to happen when you have a big group. DeWeese a lap down, and it looks he has the first stall, so he's not going to get in his stall and just cut across him. Yeah,
well, I put some of that on the 81 as well. There is a fast and a slow lane, and you should be off to the right here. This is a transition lane, not for running down pit lane. There's rules against that in the real world, but here in area, that it's technically not illegal, but you get yourself in that position, and a little bit your own fault.
He started 29th. More pitters this time at the lead pack. Sam Fontaine, Hetchin, Dalton, Scioli, and Bourne. Stafford are in this group as well with Justin Munsell.
And there's only a handful left now, and then there were 5. Next time by will be 20 laps to go, so really counting things down. Downey, Brannigan Jr., Gak Jones, Waterworth, and Scioli was in that pack, and he's on pit lane.
Now we start to look at that pack as they all rejoin together. It looks like Matheson got a big jump on everyone else, so he's going to get swallowed up at a point here. It looks like Beckner might retain the lead of that pack. It also could be Justin Sogak doing the same thing as we wait on those other drivers to pit.
Here they come.
It looks like they come in.
Waterworth trying to gain some ground here. Oh, is that 98 going to get slowed down? Brannigan charging.
Oh, he's good. Oh, he's good. By a lot, actually.
Wow, nicely done on the brakes there for the 98 of Brannigan. Passed a couple trucks.
Yeah, now that pack is really big now. Anna Sogak down the back straightaway. That would be the battle for the effective lead between Matheson and Anna Sogak. Even through all the damage, those guys have found their way to fight for this potential race win. Even Greg Mitchell, that truck looks total, but he might be in the mix as well.
So this is going to be the group that cycles, as you pointed out. 20 laps to go, and here comes Matheson.
And that pack that just pit is going to be in trouble because they're not even in the turn one yet.
Yeah, they're going to be quite a ways back. But I'm circling the 28 of Travis Beckner in this pack. He's going to be threatening the Area 500 winner from last night. Shane Therrien's up in this mix. Mason Kane, though, I still think has to be a favorite with how good he's been tonight, how aggressive he's been, how unafraid he's been to make moves. This 31, I don't think is going to sit in 8 for too long.
This is pretty much the least amount of track position he's had all night long, so he's definitely going to have to fight back to the front. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do with it. This is going to be interesting too because we got a lot of trucks in that top lane. Really, the first 3 trucks in the top lane have some damage, so I wonder how that's going to affect this race.
Well, green flag pit stops always stretch the field out and reduce the chance for yellows. This is still a pretty sizable group, though, so I think we probably still end up with one as people get racy at the end. But we could go green all the way to about 3 or 4 laps to go, so you got to move if you're not in this front group. And if you are in this front group and you're not at the front of the front, go. Look at this little scattering here back mid-pack. JT Poole up to 13th.
I think someone like Slaughter is going to have to get to the third lane now because we're under 20 to go. When that third lane gets formed, it's going to be formed for the rest of this race besides a caution ruining it. Once there's someone up there leading that line, you're going to be 3x3, and if you're not in that lane moving forward, you're going to be stuck for the rest of this race. So someone's got to make that first move.
And here's a truck that we haven't really talked about a lot tonight. Michael Curhan, 31st down to 42nd, up to 4th, and now runs 7th, right behind Greg Mitchell. So this is a pretty powerful place for this Ford F-150 to be.
And you can see the tiny bit of damage off Greg Mitchell as he's got a little dent in the nose, but still enough speed to maintain at the front of this field. And Shane Therrien, who just narrowly avoided chaos, pushing him with a little bit of a smaller pack than we had earlier. This lead pack's about, I think, 24 trucks at this point. That second pack led by Jason Dalton's trying to get back into this fight.
And as far as their times are concerned, they are going mostly quicker, so they should catch. But they're not catching by a ton, and they have some time left, but is that third groove going to be set up? There was some contact there between the 69 of Sean Petchin and maybe the 63.
I think Cummings was there as well. As looks like Matthew Rodriguez got shoved to the top, so he's going to go a little backwards here, but there is a third lane coming. Looks like it's Scioli and Munsell trying to do something at the very back, but still not big enough of a run to really do anything. They just got back down, coming to 16 to go.
Laps winding down here from Daytona in the 5th season of the Area Truck Series. Couple of yellows so far, but it is go time here at Daytona.
And he might have nowhere to go if Scioli gets up there as Beckner, a huge shove to the 88.
Big shove, the 31 and the 07, was that behind him? Who's that fourth truck on the inside?
That is John Hall, I think, in front.
No, it is the 07.
It was Joshua Balliet, who's a lap down.
Man, they were really shoving through 1 and 2 and got the 31 all sorts of sideways. And the 8's middle 3 wide.
Yep, he dumped Mitchell. He saw that damage, got him out of line. He's got to do the same with Anna Sogak probably, but that killed that middle lane. Beckner had the lead. It goes all of a sudden back to Michael Curhan, who got to the bottom.
And Nathan Jump maybe didn't know about the 2's damage. He went with him instead. Or maybe in spite of the damage. Still 2x2, 2 F-150s on the outside, and then everybody else on the middle and bottom.
And meanwhile, that second lane is in the draft of this lead pack, so they're going to be a little bit of a threat at the end of this race, but they'll likely have nowhere to go, but they are here.
Just light the fuse and figure out where to send the rocket. Up the outside is really your only opportunity. But you're just going to have to be forceful with it. You can't, if you've got that much momentum coming from the trail, you've got to take it and run with it. As soon as you get stalled out, it's going to fan everyone out. It'll be a mess back there, and then you won't move forward anymore. The 0-3, John Hall pulls off, or Matheson rather, in the 52 pulls off.
Oh, I wonder if the pit thing, the fuel thing, maybe gave him not enough fuel.
Well,
because he came out far ahead of everyone else.
If you weren't going to make it, this is the best time to pit, because you can get back on the racetrack, you can stay on the lead lap for now, and hope that everyone wrecks and you'll get caught back up. So don't wait. Make that move now. I like that call a lot. It's a mistake, but he could get very lucky and have that essentially be erased if this pack gets into it here. 3 wide.
Yeah, 3 wide, finally got that third lane. It was Greg Mitchell, with all that damage, he's still going to have drivers behind him. Was going to note Fambro's internet drop, so it's another unfortunate one. He's out of this running for the win, but got that third lane going now.
Didn't take long, 13 to go now, and the whole field is here. 39 runners of the 43 are in this pack.
Slaughter was thinking about going up there. He is going to go up into the corner. I think he's really just trying to keep Mitchell behind him to make sure he has that option. He might also be trying to bring David Weishart with him, which it looks like he'll have the option to. Senesac's going to get clear as well. That third lane just dropped.
All right, it's motion time. Pick your lane and go, because you might get a yellow flag here that could really put us in a pickle here for the tail end of this race.
That's our first big block at the end of this race. Hall went up to ruin their momentum, and he did it for now. Curhan's clear to the middle, but Beckner has no help all of a sudden.
Yeah, this is looking not great. The 0-3, big wobble there. Curhan's going to get to the back of him through the tri-oval. 12 laps to go.
Beckner has a resurgence. The 51, Matthew Rodriguez, got back in line to push him.
Look at Beckner through the middle. Back to the front for at least a moment with assistance from Rodriguez in the 51.
This is a big one. This is going to be a big one for sure. I mean, a big finish regardless, but these guys are all over each other now. The bumping was not as aggressive earlier. Now it's really anything you can throw at the rear bumper of these trucks you're going to try to do.
If someone makes a mistake, everyone's in it. There's no getting around it. Scioli, where did he come from up the middle again? Justin Munsel's back.
Yeah, those two work together from the back of this line maybe 10 laps ago to get back in position and maybe have a chance to win this race, but they got to try to push Beckner clear and Rodriguez if they want to have any sort of shot at it.
Look at the focus on Munsel's face. Look how smooth and steady that wheel has to be. He's turning it maybe an inch.
That's how precise it can get. Anything more than that, he's right rearing the guy on his inside. And everything less than that, he's turning the guy on his outside. It's in the middle, it's the toughest place to be, weaving at the back half of this field, but they kept it straight for now as we are 3 wide, maybe 10 rows deep.
Yeah, right back to where we were at the start here, but now it's go time, and we have 10 laps to go. Everybody fanning out, 3 wide. The whole screen is filled with area trucks. 10 laps to go from Daytona, 25 miles to decide it.
And this is going to be rough because we got lap traffic coming up, and there is no third lane dissipating this time. They just got to hold a line and hope nothing big happens.
Well, this is one of those moments where if you're a lap down, I think you'd be wise to get onto the apron here.
Wineland and Braxton DeWeese, they're only 2. Not too far up the road is another pack of 2 or 3 as well, including Matheson.
Here we go. Beckner checking up there. The 51 doesn't have anywhere to go. Into turn 3 and 4, and they're on the apron. Ooh.
DeWeese is not on the apron, though.
Here we go. This is going to get dicey. That Curhan, he just checked up the whole inside lane there. Got onto the apron, but a bit too late. Kane goes to the middle.
I don't think DeWeese thought he could slow down in time without coming back up, so that was just a horrible spot to catch those two. Big block. Beckner almost got turned there by Rodriguez, but he kept it straight. Scioli to the middle. Now everyone's scrambling.
John Hall in the lead, 9 to go. Here comes Rodriguez up to the outside. Beckner can't block that one.
And Scioli's going to go with him. They'll have a run. Hall's going to block middle. 51's going to stay behind him. Big bump. He's out of line. Scioli's going to go under him. Now Scioli has the bump for Manasogak. And Mason Kane has a huge run, but nowhere to go with it.
And the 51 is dropping like a rock. Kane getting to the back of him there.
Uh-oh.
Big sideways motion there. He gathers it up, but the whole outside lane checks up, and it's just 2x2 for the first 10 cars now.
And now all of a sudden, that's why he's a series champion. Scioli is going to lead this lap. It's him and Hall now at this point. And for a new name, John Hall's done a great job tonight being at the front to compete for this win, I've got to say.
Yeah, he has done an exceptional job here. 8 laps to go, and the game is on. Now, the 31 is trapped. Mason Kane does not want to be behind Matt Rodriguez unless he can shove him forward. Now they're building some momentum, though.
Oh, there was a block from Hall. Scioli's going to stay there, though.
Man, this is intense.
Senesac. Here goes Senesac and Weishart to the top.
Senesac back to the middle.
Yeah, I think he's going to hang out his teammate, but he had no choice. There's no one up there.
JT Poole is in the middle. I see him lurking back there. 7 laps to go.
You just need to have the right people on that top line. And right now, I just don't think you have the right pushers right now to get that line back up there. You need guys like JT Poole or Mason Kane to get up there, or David Weishart. Gary Waterworth leads it now. Cars on the wall, 51. Kept it straight, though.
Lap traffic ahead. Garrett Grant, I think?
Yep, Garrett Grant will go to the apron.
Good time to catch him on the back straightaway. Munsell with a big shot to the back of Beckner here into 3. That should push the 28 just north of the 0-3 on the outside.
And what Munsell's trying to do here, he is...
slide.
Man, he's trying to push that 28 clear and clear himself in the process. That's his only way that he's going to have a chance at the win unless something crazy happens. He needs to push himself and Beckner clear, then he can go high or low to try to pass that 28, but he's just not getting enough of a run through the corner to do so.
6 laps to go.
Oh, crash!
That was a huge impact. And trucks in the wall and crash. That one jump scared me. The 11 hit so hard. Dawson Miller.
Nathan Jump as well. James Shane Wolf, Greg Mitchell, huge damage.
Is it the 11 I saw that was on the outside wall as part of it?
Looked like, I thought it was him, but huge hits. I know Greg Mitchell has the most damage, so we'll
Watch
see.
Mason Kane right there. Mason Kane.
Kane tries 4.
Oh.
Yeah, it was Greg Mitchell and Dawson Miller. Big hit for Shane Wolf.
Yeah, the 2 gets a big lick here.
And they did call Mason Kane for that incident. Jacob Bell nowhere to go.
Yeah, if we watch it start, Kane moves left here. I think he just didn't know Miller was there.
We saw that at Dega in the Cup race. They were going the same lane, in my opinion. So that's what happens when everyone's trying to get to the front. I really don't, after looking at that, I don't think Kane was trying to go forward. I think both of them were just non-committal to the middle.
Non-committal to the middle.
Yeah.
I like that.
It came together at the worst time, entering the corner especially.
Man.
This is probably going to put us in white checkered range as well.
It's close. It is close. Not sure, though, yet. We'll have to see. But running order on the left-hand side of the screen, and as far as I'm concerned, I think that's our 4th yellow. Indeed it is. And they've only been about 2 full laps apiece, Connor, so we could get restarted without forcing the overtime. It might be a natural overtime, but not a forced overtime.
Yeah, we'll have to just see here, as we had a crash under yellow, I think, into 3. I think Dawson Miller crashed into 3. He reset, yeah.
Go back and see what happened there.
Oh, that's a hardware failure.
Yeah, something broke for sure. And it's not actually all that surprising because after you take a big hit like that, it can pull some things loose.
Yeah, especially if you have the force feedback is higher.
Yeah,
that could easily happen.
Yeah, I don't think that was at all driver-induced.
As John Hall over the chat did say they got 2 to green. He is the race leader, so this should be a natural attempt. Not taking up the actual attempt.
What that means is, you're right, this is not going to be counted as a full course yellow, which is news because we can have another yellow flag. I don't think that we will. I think the trucks take long enough to get organized and get pace that we should get to the white flag.
You didn't sound so sure.
I'm not sure, but I just have an inclination. Think that.
Well, it's definitely why it happens in the Cup races a lot. You're already packed up and getting big runs in the Cup car going into turn 1. So that's a big reason why the crashes happen late in the race like we saw Monday night. But like you said, trucks still kind of take a lap to get going like the Cup cars did in the old days. So I would not be surprised to see us go green. We'll just have to see.
Race fans, be sure to check out shop.areairacing.com for merchandise to represent your favorite drivers and teams. Shop from our brand new selections of champion t-shirts, jackets, hats, and more. Easier to shop, quicker to ship, better to wear. That's shop.areairacing.com. Make sure you tune in on twitch.tv/areairacing as well. Earn those channel points. All right, Connor, we've had 87 laps of 90. I liked the 31 up until that penalty, but he's got a long way to go. 28's a good pick. Who's your favorite?
I had JT Poole earlier. He could still win. He's going to be restarting 9th or 10th, but we'll have to see. I'm liking Justin Munsell. I think I like his chances. I think he and Scioli are going to be the two that are going to be trying to work together here if they can get in line. And I would not be surprised to see him try to get redemption for that finish at Gateway last season. If you remember that side-by-side finish, he needs a win.
I do remember that. He's hungry. He's in position. He's going to restart on the outside of row 2. Don't dislike that pick of JT Poole either, though.
He was my pick at the beginning, so I'm going to semi-stick with him. Just going to be a little tougher from back in the 10th position. He just didn't get enough track position before that caution.
And it's really, really interesting looking back at the dorm life. Been a little while for me, but...
The guy in the background, his friend.
That was a lot of fun, man.
Just hopefully he doesn't race on that other monitor in the background. That chair, I've had that chair. It's not that comfortable.
Oh, that's I broadcast from a chair very similar to that for years at my first Chicago apartment. Not comfortable. Would not recommend.
I'd recommend the bed.
The chairs that we had at our college were the wooden ones, but they were like half rocking chairs. So if you leaned back, they would rock.
Yeah, I don't trust those.
No, of course not. And they were awful for doing anything on your computer.
Yeah, if you have a choice between that chair and the bed, pick the bed if you can.
For sure.
Or just pick the sim rig.
I also just remember having beds that were 6 feet off the ground so you could store stuff under them.
Yeah, that.
And then you move into an apartment and you're like, I don't need to do that anymore.
Got my own cabinets, my own closets.
Yeah.
Mine. For a few months.
All right, firing things up here. 2 laps to go. This is not going to count for our green-white checkered. So if we do get a yellow flag, we will go to overtime. Travis Beckner and John Hall are your control cars here for the restart. Into the acceleration zone. And green flag back in the air. 2 to go from Daytona in Season 5 of the Area Truck Series.
Hall did not go at all there. Beckner's got a little advantage on the bottom here.
Look at Mason Kane in the background already trying to grab some spots. He's got a long way to go in 5 miles, though.
Trying to Kyle Busch it. Didn't work out, though. Little door banging. They're 4 wide. They're crashing almost at the very back, but they kept it straight. And Hall's going to get a big run down the back straightaway.
Oh, boy. That was wild stuff. Here they go down the back stretch. Can we get to this front straightaway again? Brad Slaughter gets shuffled around on the bottom.
Weishart to the top. They're trying to make something happen. Hall stays middle. Beckner comes back bottom.
Can we get to turn 4? Can we get back to the stripe? There's the field. White flag will be in the air this time by. And I think we're going to get there.
We're going to get there.
Last lap from Daytona for the Area Truck Series.
Munsell just can't do anything. Hall's staying middle. He's not going to get clear. He's not going to want to clear himself with Beckner because he doesn't want Beckner getting clear either. But at any point, Munsell could get pushed by Curhan by if they both go together. Little car in the wall in the back.
Hall
he keeps it straight.
Off the bumper of the number 6 of Justin Munsell. Munsell's shoving him down the back straightaway, trying to get clear. Beck crashed behind him.
He's clear. There he goes.
Whoa, big block. Hall. Oh, Munsell gets turned. And up and all in the air. Hall leads.
Huge crash.
Curhan second.
He's got to run. Here comes Curhan.
Michael Curhan through turns 3 and 4. coming back to the checkers. He goes to the outside, gets squeezed into the wall. And John Hall is going to hang on and win at Daytona.
Welcome to area, John Hall. Wow, what a race from him. Wow. Incredible job to hold on to that. And my gosh, we still barely have our top 10 with all that crashing.
Yeah, that's generally how it ends when you get these green-white checkers. And last lap is, without any yellow flags in that final lap, it is last man standing. And it is John Hall that will get his first area win in his first start as the fireworks explode.
Look at who finished fourth, by the way. Jake Matheson got all the way back to fourth through all that.
Travis Beckner ends up ninth.
Poole got the second. My pick almost got up there at the very end. He just didn't. If it was Talladega, maybe. But what a win. That is incredible.
That was pretty wild. John Hall going to celebrate with two teammates in the top 5. And he is a winner at Daytona.
And as long as he's running the full season, just like Anna Sogak, he punches his ticket to the playoffs bright and early. And that, judging off the way he won this race, I would not be surprised if he would have made it anyway, because that was a statement win. He kind of dominated the back half of this race. He was at the front all race long.
Yeah, led 15 of the 90. The 6th of the race, I think. That sounds about right. Let's go back and have a look at it, shall we, Connor? That was a pretty wild last lap or so.
It's a lot to look at. Here's the finish here, but we'll see that in a little bit. We had a wreck in the back of Garrett Grant, but that was way at the back. Didn't matter. This is where it got crazy. Munsell gets the push. He plays it right, and he gets clear right here. He looked high. He gets clear, gets low, but a perfect block by the 0-3, and then Beckner hooks the 6 of Munsell in front of the field, and almost everyone's caught up in this one with cars on top of each other in the turn number 3.
Yeah, that was pretty huge there, and that was just, you can't really blame Beckner there either, right?
Yep.
I mean, the 6 went down and kind of came back up, and then the whole field just, everywhere. And then as they come through 3 and 4, Curran, I think he thought he might have had him here, and he had the momentum to get there. Yeah. But he swings to the right, and right here, big block from the 0-3, just gets the 24 in the wall and just stunts the momentum just enough. And Curran actually ended up 3rd by 0.06 of a second.
Yeah, I mean, it's a block. It's going to happen at the end of a race. No blaming John Hall. He did what he had to do.
He didn't take him to the wall. He just made sure that he hit the wall himself.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play it that way. I mean, not only just to win the race and lead the laps, but the blocks on that last lap. He had to make 2 huge blocks. If he missed on either of those, he loses the race. That was perfectly played, as you'll get another look at it. Curran pulls out. 0-3 reacts. I think you'll call that bumper-to-bumper contact, and Curran just ran out of room.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll be disappointed in that, but it is what it is as far as the race results are concerned. Let's have a look here, Connor, at the race results. John Hall gets it done in the 0-3 Chevrolet, and only one Toyota and only one Ford in the top 10. Curran in the Ford, Weishart in the 33 Toyota.
And a lot of players at the front that still finished near the front. Beckner and Weishart will want better than 9th and 10th. Bell got back up to 8th. Waterworth 7th. The last season's winner, Anna Sogak, another top 5. And Jake Matheson was almost lapped before the lap 85 caution. He ends up 4th.
And looking down the rest of the order, Matthew Rodriguez in 11th. Mark Brannigan Jr., great finish for the driver that started last. 12th for the 98 truck. Tom Bourne, Brad Slaughter Jr., 15th and 16th. Casey Lakatos, we didn't really talk about him tonight, but top 20 for the 50 truck. And then down towards the bottom here, Connor, these are some trucks that didn't quite have the night they were looking for.
How about James Scioli? He was at the front all night, too, and that big crash on the final lap. He ends up 26. Not a great start to his campaign to repeat as truck champion. Jason Dalton, talked about him a little bit, 22nd. Therian, 23rd. Tinch, 24th. Culberson, 28th after an early incident. Danny Ware all the way back at 30th with Senesac, 29th. A number of drivers in there who ran better where they finished, and a lot more here as well. Munsell ending up 33rd after being almost in the lead in the turn number 3.
Yeah, that is painful for Munsell. Just wasn't meant to be. Again, it's a frustrating way to wrap things up. Down towards the bottom, some drivers that were involved in some accidents and then Kevin Stein with the engine issue that led to him being 58 laps down, Hearn out early with a crash, and Joey Chapman did not start this race, will not earn any points. Let's talk to Michael Curhan, who was just so close tonight. Had a run coming, and then made a move, got blocked, and then it was all downhill from there. Fell one more spot to third by 0.06 of a second, Michael, but exciting tail end of the race. Take us through your perspective there on that last lap.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly didn't think I was going to be there at all, honestly. I got caught up in that wreck early on, and the truck was really hurting, so I almost lost the draft early on, so I really thought my race was done. And then there I am the last lap with a chance to win, just came up a little bit short. Yeah, so like you said, just had such a big run on John there at the end. I just had to be committed to making the move, and he came up, and I just kind of really had nowhere to go but to the wall. So so close yet so far, I guess. But I'll take it with considering where it was going to start with. So I'll take it. Top 3 is a good way to start the season.
Yeah, it really was, and that'll be good momentum heading into the next couple of races. I mean, obviously, we head to a couple of 1.5 milers. The last of those in the sequence is Atlanta. Similar racing in some ways. Is there anything you can learn from tonight that you can apply to Atlanta in a few weeks?
Yeah, it was really a lot to learn, more than I thought, I suppose. I thought I kind of knew what I was doing out there, but it was interesting how the draft was working out there. It didn't seem like I was able to, or anyone was really able to suck up to the truck in front as easily as before. So definitely things to learn and take to Atlanta, and hopefully I can improve just a couple more spots there in Atlanta.
Michael Curhan, third place by 0.06 of a second. Michael, congrats on the P3. Wish it could have been 2 spots better for you, but we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kyle. And just real quick, I'd like to thank Fazekas Motorsports, NAI, Leo Bram, Fame Construction, and Flash Picks. Appreciate my teammates as well helping me out this week.
Michael Curhan, P3 at Daytona. Michael, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
And JT Poole came home in second place, and it was very, very tight for that second spot there, JT. Kind of a wild night. He ran as low as 32nd, as high as the lead, but come home in second. Take us through your evening there in that last restart to the checkers.
Yeah, I'm always destroyed. I have 3.5 minutes of optional. I didn't lift that entire run. I was so slow. I was so underpowered. So I'm really glad we got second, but it was fun to be up front. I don't even think we led a lap, but we were up there most of the time. But then there's that wreck in front of us. We just got hit pretty hard from behind, and we slammed the wall. We were crabbing pretty bad. We had the toe knocked out like big time at the end, and yeah, we were really hurt. So I really don't know how that happened. I don't know what happened. The sea parted and the middle opened, and I just kind of went through there. And if I wasn't destroyed, I probably might have had a shot to win, but I just couldn't suck up to Curhan. But I'll take a second. I'm so glad John won in his first AA race. That's so cool. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy race, but we'll see. We'll see how the next plate race goes.
And JT, can we expect a full season effort from you this season going for the title?
Yeah, there shouldn't be anything on my Tuesday slate now. I had a sideline to Cup Series for some other things, but yeah, we should be trying to make a playoff run this year. I was pretty hurt after last year not making it, but yeah, hopefully we're racing for a championship at the end of the year.
JT Poole, second at Daytona. JT, congrats. We'll talk to you next week.
Happy birthday, Connor.
Is it Connor's birthday?
It's Connor Kresik's birthday.
Oh, Connor O'Kresick.
Team owner.
Okay, I was
not Connor Horn.
I was gonna say, I was like, man, no.
I forgot you broadcast.
Well,
Yeah, hi. I'll see you
Connor.
Monday.
I don't race Mondays.
Well,
I won't see him. I'll see you next week. Maybe
You're on
victory lane
Thursdays?
then. I mean, probably not. I have teammates that run Thursday. It's close enough.
Then I'll hopefully see you Tuesday, Connor.
Yeah, I'll probably see you Tuesday with the way you've been running.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
all right. Happy birthday, Connor O'Kresick, and thanks, JT. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Kyle. Bye-bye.
John,
If anyone wants to get me birthday presents, it's in February, not now.
okay, 10-4. John Hall, man, what a baptism in the area series. The holy water is champagne tasting tonight, John. Where did you come from? Started 11th, ran as low as 26, but up front most of the night, and at the very end of things, it got wild out there, but you threw a heck of a block, and you come home winning at Daytona. Take me through this race and your emotions crossing the stripe first.
Oh my God! I first of all, I just cannot thank the guys at Miller Racing enough. That was like, it was complete dominance. It felt like at the front of the field, like we were all in sync with the moves we were gonna make and everything else like that. And coming into the night, I was just like, man, I just kind of want to run well. I don't want to do anything too crazy. But yeah, the last lap, it was just all bet the gloves came off. So yeah.
Man, first race in, qualified yourself for a playoff berth. Is this a full season effort for you, and can we expect to see you fighting for a championship now with this locked-in berth?
Oh yeah, I'm for the full season running for points the whole year. So yeah, I'm super excited to lock myself in already. Yeah, this is going to be a great year, starting it off just like this.
Well, certainly topping it with a high already. Hopefully it's not the high point of the season, John. With a run like that, I think there's more on the way. Congrats and enjoy it.
Thank you very much. I just want to thank the sponsors for Miller Racing, Calusa Pines, Alien Gear, Holster, Celsius, and then, of course, the area shop for being on the hood.
All right, John. Hey, congratulations. Enjoy your win at Daytona, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Sounds good.
All right, Connor, let's go through the results one more time here before we sign off for the evening. But John Hall starting things off the right way, and JT Poole running for a championship in this series. That should be a wake-up call for everybody, that these two and their 03 and 26 Chevrolets are going to be contenders.
Yeah, especially, I can't believe the fact JT Poole got back that second through all that. It's just those types of finishes are what makes a championship competitor that championship competitor. They're just going to be able to grind out finishes no matter what. So definitely looking to see that 03-26 at the front. And we'll see Scioli recover for sure down at 26. This is usually not his type of style of racing. So we go to the mile and a halves, he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with still.
Well, Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week, 120 laps. But before we head there, it's going to be Daytona here on Thursday, the Area Florida State Builders Pro Series. Kyle Heyer alongside Connor Horn. Thanks for watching tonight, and we'll see you right back here at Daytona on Thursday.